My name is Isabel Wheeler. It is October 18th of 2019. It is week 7 video exercise, the gross anatomy of the central nervous system. Today I will be dissecting a sheep's brain and pointing out and labeling each of the structures on the sheep's brain. So I have already washed my sheep's brain. So now we will start pointing out all the structures on the sheep's brain. Okay, so we have the sheep's brain right here. We're going to be starting out with the dorsal view of the sheep brain, which is going to be the top view, and the dorsal structures of the sheep brain. So first we have the sulcus, which are the different grooves inside on top of the sheep's brain. We have the gyri, which is going to be the different ridges inside the sheep's brain in between the sulcus. We have the temporal lobe, which is going to be on the left bottom part right here. We have the frontal lobe, which is going to be on the right, top right, and that is where your motor function, problem solving, judgment, impulse control, and different behaviors come from. We have the longitudinal fissure, which goes all the way down the brain, and that separates the two hemispheres of the vertebrate brain. We have the parietal lobe, which is going to be on the right side right here. And that is correlation of sensory information. We have the occipital lobe, which is going to be on the bottom right of the brain. And the occipital lobe is primary visual cortex, and it receives visual input from the retina. So, and then we have the cerebellum, which is going to be right here. And the cerebellum is part of the brain at the back of the skull. Its function is to coordinate, regulate muscular activity. So that would be the dorsal structures of the sheep brain. We're going to be looking at the ventral view of the sheep brain right here, the ventral structures of the sheep's brain. We'll be starting out with the optic nerve. The optic nerve is right here, and the optic nerve is in the back of the eye. The job of the optic nerve is to transfer visual information from the retina to the vision centers of the brain. It conveys visual information from optic chiasma to the lateral geniculate nuclei. And then we have the optic tract, which is right here. We have the midbrain, which is going to be right here. The midbrain is the central part of the brainstem, developing from the middle of the primitive or embryonic brain. We have the pons right here, and the pons are the part of the brainstem that links the medulla oblongata to the thalamus. We have the medulla oblongata, which is right here. The medulla oblongata is the continuation of the spinal cord within the skull, forming the lowest part of the brainstem and containing control centers for the heart and lungs. The olfactory bulb is going to be right here. The olfactory bulb is the structure located in the forebrain of the vertebrates that receives neural input and odors detected by cells in the nasal cavity. We have the optic chiasma, which is going to be right here. The optic chiasma is an X-shaped structure formed by the crossing of optic nerves in the brain. We have the mammillary body, which is going to be right here. The mammillary body is a pair of small round bodies located on the undersurface of the brain as part of the, forms the limbic system. It's located at the ends of the anterior arcs of the fornix. We have the parietal lobe, which is right here. The parietal lobes are a pair of lobes of the brain at the top of the head. It includes areas concerned with the reception and correlation of sensory information. We have, lastly, the cerebellum, which is going to be right here. And the cerebellum is part of the brain at the back of the skull and vertebrates. Its function is to coordinate and regulate muscular activity.